In this example, I want to replicate a classical hand calculation of a load on a cantilever beam. So let's look at the setup for this. And so for the hand calculations, we have a length of 24 inches, and in later problems we'll do in metric units as well, but this one is going to be in imperial units. And then I have a load on the end of this beam of 150 pounds. The width and height of the beam are 1 inch. The material is steel with the properties, the yield strength, and the modulus of elasticity as given. And then if you do punch in the hand calculations and calculate what S max is, what the displacement is, and what the safety factor is, and then we want to see if we get the similar numbers with analysis software. Here I see the final results, and let's look at how to set this up. So I'm going to start a new design, and before I start the design, I created a project folder for the location. So I did new project, put my work into this folder, and so I've already run this trial once, and so we'll run it again. I'll show you how I set this up and go through all the process. Now I'm going to first of all make sure that my units are on inches. If you have this on millimeters, change it to inches for this problem. And then if I check the material, I see that the material is steel. Now if I want to make my own material, I can right click on this and I can duplicate that. Now I don't want to edit the original, so I'll always do duplicate, and then I can do edit, and I will go to advanced and physical, and I see the mechanical properties of the material. So I'm interested in the mechanical properties, particularly Young's modulus and the yield strength. Now later on when we have a larger part, we'll also be concerned with the density of the material, which will determine the weight. Notice that these material properties are given in metric units. In a little bit we'll see how we can see these units in imperial units. I've actually set under my preferences for the simulation, I have set it to return the result in English imperial units, inch, pound, seconds. But even though I've done that, it gives us some material properties in metric units. But we'll see how to get the material properties in inch, pound, seconds. Let's start a new sketch, and I'm going to do that sketch on the XY plane, and I'll draw a rectangle to the right of the origin, and I'm going to do a midpoint constraint between this line and the origin to place that line at the origin, and then I will dimension the height of this as 1 inch, and I'll dimension the length of this as 24 inches. Now notice when I put in the second dimension, everything turns black. The sketch is fully defined. I'll then do an extrude, and I want to extrude this midplane symmetrically, and I want to go the whole width of this as 1 inch. So if I put it on this option, I get the total width. If I put it on this option, it does 1 inch on one side and 1 inch on the other side. I want this to be a 1 inch square, so I'll say okay to that. I'm going to turn off the visibility of these work planes, and I'm going to turn off the visibility of that z-axis. And so our y-axis will be going up and down, and our x-axis along the length of our cantilever beam. Alright, I'll go ahead and save that, and let's call this Lab 1 Cantilever Beam. And then I'm going to go to the Design tab, and I'll click on Simulate, and I want to create a static stress analysis. The first thing I'll do, working my way through the tools, is I'll check my materials, and so my material is steel. If I click on that material and I go to properties, here I see the properties of that steel in imperial units. I'm then going to go to constraints, and I want to do a fixed constraint on this left end of the beam on that face. So I'll select that face, not a point, not an edge, like the face, and I've now fixed that face. And then I want to put a load over here on this face. So I'll go to my loads, and I will select this face, but I want it going down in the negative y direction. So I'm going to select here for vectors, and I'll go in the y direction. We'll put in the negative 150 pounds force. We see the glyph for the direction is going down, and so we've got our load put on here. And then I'm going to go to the mesh view, and so I'm going to click on mesh, and it tells me I haven't created one. Would I like to mesh the part? I'll tell it yes to mesh the part, and so here we see the mesh. Now that's a pretty coarse mesh. In a few minutes we'll see how we can increase the density of that mesh. If we want to turn that off, we can click here on the eye symbol to hide the mesh, or if we want to turn it back on, we can make it visible again. Now I want to see if I'm ready to solve the problem. So I'll run a pre-check, and it says it has all the information required. So we need the material, we need the constraints, we need the load. We have those set up, and then I will click on solve, and I'm given a choice of solving it on the cloud or solving it locally. If I'm solving it on the cloud, I want to make sure that I select the correct account for my cloud credits. In this case, I'm going to solve it locally, and this is a fairly simple problem, so it will solve pretty quickly. I'll go ahead and do solve. Alright, so we see our result details. It gives us the safety factor, and notice this deformation scale. So we see that our part, this was the original location, and it is bent down here. Remember, this was 1 inch from here to here, and one question that comes up quite frequently is, I know my part doesn't bend that much, but actually we need to look at the numbers of how far that has bent, not the picture. And notice I can do this. It's an adjusted amount. If I put it on actual, so we see that it actually bent from here to here. So this adjustment is, sometimes it's hard to tell where a behavior is occurring, and so we can adjust that to exaggerate that behavior so that we can clearly see what's happening. I want to have a safety factor of greater than 1, yield stress divided by the calculated stress. Look at that stress. So here we see our stress, and we can compare this number to the hand calculations. Now, stress calculation is really sensitive to the mesh. Safety factor, which is derived from the stress, those calculations are really sensitive to the mesh. And let's also look at the displacement. So our actual displacement is about 0.26, or if we round that off, 0.27 inches. And so let's look at some more parameters on this. I'm going to go back to my mesh, and I'll edit that mesh value. And remember, our part was 1 inch from here to here. If I do an absolute size, let's say 0.2, that would give us 5 divisions from top to bottom of this part. Let's go ahead and select OK to that. Now it tells us that that is out of date, so we need to right click and generate that mesh again. And we'll see that the more dense that we put that mesh, it takes a little bit longer to mesh the part, and then we need to update our results. So we'll solve our analysis again. Okay, now if you compare the results to your hand calculations, the displacement should be right on. Again, the stress and the safety factor are very sensitive numbers to the mesh, and so you might get a slight difference, but it should be in the same ballpark as your hand calculations. If I go to the safety factor, we may have a location that just on a particular point of a lower safety factor, but look at the overall face. This overall face, you know, it's up here in the 2 to 3 safety factor area, and so sometimes we can end up with what's referred to as a singularity, that we can ignore that particular high location of a low safety factor or high stress, and we'll see how in future problems how to account for the singularities.